Hello, Carmen here. Today I would like to show you how you can improve your posture when sitting at a desk so that you experience less back pain, less soreness in the shoulders and in the neck, and less fatigue. We're going to practice active sitting. Now, what is active sitting? Active sitting is about aligning the body in the best possible way so that you waste the least amount of energy. Sounds like a lot of work, but it's easier as you may think. So what happens when we sit down at a desk? We may sit down in some sort of office chair or whatever you have, and then we sit. I usually type on a computer, and then over the time the back is rounding, the head goes forward, we keep looking at a screen, and that creates a lot of tension in our back and in our neck because the body on a subconscious level tries to pull us back into a better position, or at least tries to keep us from falling off the chair. And that's what we experience as back pain, neck pain, and because there's so much effort for the body, we also get fatigued easier. Now, what can we do to improve? First of all, have a look at your seat, at your chair. I prefer a rather basic type of chair, so not an office swivel chair or something like, just a normal chair. And actually, I don't even need a backrest. The main thing to look for is a very plain seat of the chair. Ideally, it should be completely parallel to the floor. This one is slightly tilted backwards, just slightly, so it's just okay, but if possible, keep the seat completely straight. Why that? I'll explain in a moment. Now, when sitting down on the chair, try to place your bottom more to the front part, to the front edge of the seat. Feel the sit bones and place your feet flat on the floor. If possible, take your shoes off so that your foot soles are really down on the floor, in direct contact with the floor, because when you're wearing high heels or some shoes with an elevated heel, the heels come up and that changes your whole posture quite a lot. So try to keep the feet flat on the ground, the toes slightly spread, and look that your feet, your ankles are pretty much under the knees. Then sit with the knees about hip-width apart. Maybe a little bit wider if you need, if you feel more comfortable with that. But try to keep some space between your knees. And never cross your legs. So any form of crossing the legs here, or even this one, will change the position of your pelvis, and with that the whole position of the spine, the whole shape of the spine. So it creates an imbalance in the body. And also the leg which is crossed over will have a lack of blood circulation in the calf and in the toes, depending on how you hold it. So best is to keep both feet on the floor, legs parallel. Then keep the knees above the ankles and the hips a little bit higher than the knees. That is true for most people because most people are pretty tight in hamstrings, and the higher the knees, the more the pelvis will tilt backwards. And this is not what we want. So what we are looking for is having the pelvis in a neutral position. Feel the sit bones, these bony things under your bottom, and try to get those sit bones evenly down on the seat of the chair. So try to balance your weight as good as you can, feeling both sit bones, and try to figure out where the middle of the sit bone is. So try to tilt your pelvis back and forth a few times until you get a feeling for where the center, the neutral position is. And having achieved that, now begin to consciously send your sit bones down into the seat of the chair. And what you might notice is that you lengthen your back when you do that. You engage the muscles in the front of your body, in your belly, but also lengthen your back. And when doing that, it is really important to keep the pelvis in a neutral position, because what happens when we start with a forward tilt and we send the sit bones down, you increase the tension in your lower back. It can feel pretty painful, so there's a lot of pressure going into the disc. And when you do the opposite, when you send your tailbone down rather than the sit bones, that causes more back pain in the upper back and also a lot of tension in the front of your body. So neither is good. Try to stay balanced in a neutral position. And then when you send your sit bones down, let the spine lengthen. And from there, bring the attention to your breastbone. Feel the top end of your breastbone and try to send the top end of your breastbone upwards. Now only look that you keep the bottom end of your breastbone slightly tucked in, or think of sending it down at the same time when you lift the top end of your breastbone. Otherwise, you may thrust your chest upwards like this, and that again causes a strong curve in the middle and upper back, which leads to tension and pain. So, sit bones down, breastbone up. Don't forget to tuck the bottom end of your breastbone in, and from here, let the attention move to the neck, up the neck, and to the crown of the head. Try to keep your head in line with the spine. You can imagine that you balance a book or a bowl of fruit on top of your head, and keep the head straight. Now here comes the problem. When you're working at a desk on a laptop, the laptop sits on the top of the desk so that you can type, but also the screen is low. So what happens when we look down at the screen? The chin comes down, the head comes forward, and when we keep looking at the screen, we go closer and closer, send the head even more forward, and then suddenly we start to round our back and create compression in the back of the neck. And this is what we feel as back and neck pain. Now, how can we fix that? If possible, look that you prop your laptop up on some sort of box or a stand so that the screen comes to about eye level, the top edge of your screen at eye level. And try to get a separate keyboard that you can attach to your laptop. That can be on top of your desk, and you can still write down here, but have the head in a neutral position. Ideally, the wrist should be a bit lower than the elbows to maintain good blood flow in the hands, and also keep the wrists relaxed, the wrists and fingers relaxed. Now, that would be the ideal position where you can work quite a lot without getting back pain and fatigue. However, sitting for too long, even in the best possible seated position, is still not good for your body. So whenever you have time, get up, walk around, stretch, move, do something totally different to keep your body in motion, at least once in an hour. And this is something that we're going to show you in the next video. So stay tuned, and I'll see you next time. Bye.